So the first actual photography gig I did was it will put you in a bad situation. My primary lens that I use is if I was to give a last tip.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode. And today we have with us Ryan Hall from Nottingham. And the first thing I want to know, Ryan, is where are you right now?
I'm in Nottingham, England. I'm actually in my studio. That's where I am.
Excellent, excellent. So you have a photography studio. Is that your major thing? You do photography. I also noticed that you also teach photography, right?
Yeah, so the teaching somewhat came about slowly. So it's just something that I'm focusing in. I can't speak. I'm focusing on more now this year because a lot of people are reaching out asking me questions at X, Y, Z. But to answer your question about is the studio photography my primary job, then this is where all the magic happens, all my beauty work, my product work. This is the spot.
Excellent, excellent. That's why I wanted you on. There's a lot of things that I want to know, I want to talk about. So we'll get into that. So there's one thing that I usually do with all the people on the podcast. It might sound a little funny to you, but since you are a photographer, I ask for basically two of your best tips. One, the best tip for photography, the style you do, is at the end of the podcast. The second best tip is what we start with. So do you have any tip on the top of your mind? If you don't, that's okay. But what would you say is the second best tip that you can give to photographers?
If I'm speaking to beginners, I'd say crawl before you can walk, and then walk before you can run. Don't try and walk before you can crawl. Don't try and run before you can walk. Strictly because you rush into buying the expensive gear. You rush into trying to charge this amount, but then you're going back and forth on your prices. And I'm speaking from experience. It will put you in a bad situation, a hard situation. So I just say, be patient, work on your craft, work on learning how to use the camera, and learn the business.
Excellent. Excellent. I think that's a wonderful tip, actually. I totally agree with you there. Okay, so now we're going to start the conversation properly. The first thing I want to know is, Ryan, that what type of photography do you do?
So I am a beauty photographer. So I do, my main style is portraits. I shoot people. At this current moment in time, I shoot people and products. Previously, I've done events, I've done weddings, and so people basically.
Excellent, excellent. What did you start with, though? Did you start with weddings or something else?
No. The wedding. Okay, so the wedding came at a very unusual time. I didn't plan to do weddings. It was someone who suggested it because my goddaughter's mother and father, they got married. And I just had a camera at the time. I actually bought my second camera. It was a Canon 11 or 1200D. Can't exactly remember. Excuse me. And I was just filming it because I was into film back then. I was into video. That's when videography emerged, but on the DSLRs. So I was just playing around. And then I took a photo at the wedding. Everyone loved it. They've got it on their wall to this day. And then they kind of suggested you should go into weddings. So I thought about it, looked it up. I didn't properly do it until 4 years after. That's when I registered myself as an actual business. And that's where I put myself out there, started to do the marketing, advertising for weddings. And then I stopped advertising in 2020. 2020. And that was because I wanted to focus more on what I'm doing now. So something had to give, basically.
Yeah, very interesting. Okay, so from what you just said, I get that the first photography gig that you did was wedding. Is that what you're saying?
Sorry, no.
What?
Sorry, I do apologize. No, so the first actual photography gig I did was just an event. It was just I just had the camera.
Okay.
There was an event happening
Yeah.
where I was working. They paid me a little
Yeah.
bit of money just to take photos.
Awesome. Awesome.
And then I wanted to do
Yeah.
more studio stuff, so I kind of just transitioned more into that, and then had first customers with that. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I was
Nice.
very inexperienced when it came to the
How did you
studio
get there though?
side.
How did you get there? Like, how did you get into photography? Where did you learn the
Um,
basics to do that first event?
oh, you're asking me now. So, not to make it long, but I learned photography when I was 11 years old. Um, I didn't have no passion for it, but I was one of many youths that got chosen by the local community club to go down and do this workshop. Um,
Yeah.
and then I went through school. Obviously, it wasn't a thing back then. It wasn't an education. I didn't start learning about the digital side till I was 16 in college. That's
Yep.
when I started to explore different genres of photography. And with me being a part of the local youth club, had my camera, I fell into doing events. Um,
Yeah.
did events quite
Yeah.
well. They call me the original cameraman in Nottingham because I was one with the camera, always going to these events, different
Really?
events. You have your Jamaican dancehall events. I've done an
Yeah.
Indian wedding. I've
Oh.
done loads. I've gone to restaurants, done events there. I've done a load. I've done a lot. Yeah. So that's how I somewhat
That's
fell
good.
into it. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But you've moved from events and stuff, and now you're saying you're doing beauty and products, right?
Yeah, so that was I've always wanted to not okay, so I've always wanted to do what I'm doing now, but not
Yeah.
with products. Products wasn't something that I was opposed to products. I didn't want to do them, but then lockdown happened and everyone who had a camera was shooting products in the most easiest way, and businesses like that. That's what the trend was. So in order to stay relevant and keep up with the trend, I had to somewhat look into what kind of product photography I want to do and how I want to do it. So with
Yeah.
that being
Yeah.
said, I had to make the transition into products. So I still shoot people, but I
Yeah.
also do still life on products as well.
Do you not enjoy still life and products now, though?
Now
Now
I
that you're
enjoy
doing
it.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, like it's like I I grew to like it. The more I the more I do it, the more I'm enjoying it, and the fact that I can
Yeah.
incorporate it with what I also love, which is doing beauty photography with people, put them both
Nice.
together, kind
Yeah.
of a
That's
win-win. You
interesting.
know what I mean? So
Yeah. Personally, I like doing products more.
yeah,
The reason being is, although I do like shooting people, but there's this hassle that is kind of linked with shooting people, at least where I am. Talent coming in, going, makeup artists, a lot of other stuff that just has to be managed. So all of that stress and all of that tension goes away when I'm doing
yeah.
still life or products. It's just me, my time, the light, maybe an assistant or two. So
Yeah.
I kind of really enjoy doing products. But
I
that's really
guess
interesting.
on that note,
Okay. Yeah.
I guess on that note, it's like everyone has their preference. You know what I mean? But the way you
Yeah.
felt about way you feel about shooting with people, that's how I felt about working with products. Because I'm like, I have to think, okay, how do I style it like this? But then I gotta do this. Where with people, I can just mimic they will mimic what I'm doing. So if I say pose like this, they'll pose like that, and then I can move them around. And
Yeah.
for me, it's having that full production team. I love it because there's a lot of creators in the room of different sorts, and we're all working together to create that one image. I guess it's like a teamwork thing. I like teamwork.
Yeah.
But just like
Makes
yourself,
sense.
though, I do like to work on products as well because you have
Right.
unlimited time to an extent, and you don't have to arrange
there's no
a
rush.
makeup artist, or it's just you just have the product. You may have to go to your local bargain store to pick up a few things just to add to it, and then just create.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
But
y- and there's
so
more room for
I
error.
understand your point exactly,
Yeah.
and you learn from it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. And you're like, if something's wrong, if something doesn't go the way you want, you can redo it without any stress of the person. If there was a person, then it's a whole different story. So that's something as well. Okay, so okay, that's really interesting. Right now, what type of work is taking up most of your time? Is it this products and beauty, or is it them together, or one of them? Like, what
to be
type of
honest
clientele
with
do you
you,
have then?
it's for example, I got a beauty product shoot tomorrow with a model and the products for a brand. But I
Okay.
also do things outside
Yeah.
of that genre as well. So again, I like to shoot people. I'm very experienced in branding, so I do personal branding. I also do corporate work as well. So shoot for headshots. I was doing a graduation yesterday at a
Yeah.
university because it's not every day. It ain't always products
Yeah.
and beauty work. I got asked about
Yeah.
a portfolio as well. A model wants a portfolio done, so I do have other areas that bring in the business and brings in the revenue. But I primarily advertise for beauty and
Yeah.
products. So yeah.
It's really interesting that you're saying you advertise. So, what's your mode of getting more clients? How do you advertise? Is it just social media, or do you actively do something else?
You know what? Social media hasn't really worked for me as much, or it has through the content I post, but I've never received. Okay, I can't say never because I've received one yesterday. I have received, I've received
Yeah.
inquiries like through DMs. I've booked work on LinkedIn. But in regards to what I do, put out my
Yeah.
content. I do content marketing. So one of the reasons why I've agreed to come on the podcast here as well is content. Because I've been working on my
Yeah.
personal brand. People know people buy from people. So I need to put myself out there. And then when I put myself out
Yeah.
there, show people what I do. I go to
Yeah.
a lot of networking events. I find
Okay.
recently the networking events I've been to, I've had conversations, I've showed people my work, and they've inquired about a photo shoot for their products, whether it's fragrance, whether it's hair stuff, skincare.
Yeah.
That's how I basically find, that's my strongest point in marketing and getting new clients, actually speaking to people. I do
That's really
cold
cool. That's really
outreach as
cool.
well. I have a virtual assistant who helps me with the cold outreach. So there's different methods. There's different avenues I go down. I've dabbled into paid ads. Somewhat got one going at this moment through Google, working with the Google experts, and they're helping me with my Google ad. Don't get me wrong, it's taking a lot of money, but you got to invest to get back. So
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
have to
That's
do.
interesting.
So
That's
yeah,
interesting. Yeah. A lot of photographers don't use paid ads, but some do. So
yeah.
that's really interesting to know that you're doing that. Do let me know what type of results you get after a while. That's really cool.
If I just want to
Okay.
say as well, sorry, I don't mean to cut you.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel this will be so valuable for all photographers, no, people in general who want to use ads. I've done some research on Facebook ads, Google ads. What's the complete difference between them? Because they're somewhat set up similar, but there's a big difference. So, as you may be aware, with the Google ads, it's for people who are looking for what you're advertising. So it's warm ads. And then the Facebook ads are cold ads. So people may not be looking for what you're advertising, but they may think, And I find I've done it myself. When if you was to put a sale or try and get people to buy off you on a Facebook ad, you're looking at spending a lot of money but getting not as much back. I was somewhat successful Christmas time because I put out a free photo shoot, a family photo shoot. You know, the old school way you put out a free shoot, they come in, they buy the photos. That's what happened. I don't know the percentage, but I paid £78 around that. I know it wasn't £80. I didn't pay no more than £80, but it was below that for the ad. I received a lot of leads, got some bookings, and I made over £1,300 and odd pound in profit. So that was a successful Facebook ad, but that can only work. Like what I said, it's for free. You're giving something away for free. Whereas, you noticed there's a lot of Facebook ads or Instagram ads that have leads, lead magnets. So that's what Facebook and Instagram ads are for. Magnets, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to collect information, and then with Google, it's to sell. You know what I mean? That's why you have to have a landing page, a great one that has all the information, get the customers hooked because that's what they're looking for. But you got to keep them on your page. So I just thought I'd put that on here just in case people didn't know the difference.
That's really helpful. I think that's really good info, especially coming from somebody who's doing it. Hopefully that'll help somebody. That's great.
Yeah.
So, okay, coming back to your photography right now, we'll get into the other things you're doing. When you are doing beauty shots, basically, it's part of commercial photography. So, is it usually, what type of work do you do when it comes to beauty? Do you do like, is it for digital ads? Is it for advertising campaigns, or is it for like something else? What's the main type of work that you do? Okay.
All of above. So whenever I'm doing my consultation, I ask them where are the photos going to be used? What is this for? If I have to use the one I've got tomorrow, it's for packaging, social media marketing, and paid ads as well. So, and because it's the new brand. It's the one that showcase it in the best possible visual, and use it for marketing as well.
So
that's how
do you normally communicate with agencies, ad agencies, digital agencies, or brands directly? How is it normally for you?
I haven't gone through any digital agencies or marketing. Wrong. I've done one marketing one so I've connected with a marketing agency. That was a good shoot. Really, really good. But for me, direct, I just go straight to the people. I go direct to the owner, or if it's a big business, I go to like the marketing team, show them what I can do. Ask them if there's anything coming up that you're going to need a photographer for. If not, I'll get back in touch 6 months, or can you keep my details on file? In that process, once I've collected details as well, I will then send over examples of, let's say, the shoot I do tomorrow. Once I finish it, I will then send it to all my connects who I want to work with or who I've worked with in the past, and say, look, this is what I've just done. Do you have anything coming up? Because this is the style, or this is where we're at now, because business is it's growing. So the shoot I did last year ain't gonna look like the shoot I do tomorrow. The shoot I do tomorrow is gonna look even better. You know what I mean? So it's always keeping my potential clients updated to where I may send an email to them and they go, "Ooh, I need a shot," or "Ooh, I got a campaign. Let's work together." It's that simple. You know what I mean? It is that simple. I think there's too much gurus out there that makes it hard. They make it hard, but it's not that hard.
Yeah. That's, I think, really good advice, and that's some good guidance there, good tips. Fantastic. You know what I want to know now? I want to know what gear you're using, what gear you take along for these shoots, and also how you use them. What's your typical setup? Like, are you using like just 2 lights, 1 light? So let's first start with the gear. Well, what gear do you have?
So it's funny you say, my camera's right here from when I last shot.
Okay, show us.
There we go. So I use a Nikon D800.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Nice.
It's my camera of choice, high megapixels. It captures what I need. I do want to upgrade to the 850, but I don't need to yet. So that's a tip. Don't get gear if you don't need it. I use Godox
No one's gonna
lighting.
go with that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I use. Oh wait, I get onto the light in a minute. My primary lens that I use is a Sigma 70 to 300 zoom, macro as well.
Really?
It only cost me £35 to buy. Well, I don't know
No
what
way.
it is over in your side. Yeah, it was cheap.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, there's nothing wrong with it. The person just didn't use it, so he sold it for cheap. I recently checked online; they go for like £175 to £200. I was like, a bargain. But
Yeah,
so
that's crazy.
that's the camera
Wow.
and the lens. I tether using a tether tool from the tether tools, and I use Capture One to tether as well. I do use the all-in-one paid one. Disclaimer as well. I know there's some way you can get like the hacked ones. I have tried it. I'll be completely honest. I've tried the hacked one, but it doesn't give you everything that the paid ones do. So making that initial investment, you'll see a big difference. You get your own. So you know how you can have like Pixie set for like your online gallery, or just send like what they're called, those sheets. You know, after you to get the client to look at the pictures. Capture One does that online. You know,
okay. So
a gallery.
it gives them access to the
Contact
library.
sheet.
It gives them.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So they can see what you're shooting. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can either go live to where your client can look at it. Like, let's say you're here, but your client's like across the states. They can see what you're doing, and they'll comment saying, "I like this one, not this one,
on the
this
cloud.
one." You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And
I do.
again, it gives you a gallery as well that you can send to your client with the watermarks on, and that's in the paid one. So you don't even have to go off the platform. So Capture One is amazing. Don't get me wrong, I'm an Adobe freak, but Capture One right now is doing what it needs to do.
Yeah, I've got Lightroom, but I never used it for tether.
Yeah, I have before, and it's very slow. It's very slow, and that's when I transitioned over to Capture One. So again, I will say it, I'm very transparent. I got enough to hide. I have tried the hack Capture One, but again, it didn't give me everything that I needed that the paid one does. So I only did it to try out Capture One first. I even did the Capture One trial just before I bought it, just to be sure. And it worked. So I pay for the all-in-one. But yeah, so the system I use is the MacBook Air. I believe this is the 2021, the M1 chip.
An M1. I had that.
Yeah.
It's a great laptop.
Yeah. I was thinking about upgrading, but again, I don't need to upgrade.
I used the M1 Air. I used it for about 2 years. 2.5 years, and then I sold that, and I got an M1 Max, which I'm on right now. It's a 16-inch. It can take everything, so it's like 32 gigs. Great upgrade, but honestly, I think the M1 Air was good enough for almost everything. I did a lot of video editing on it as well, and it doesn't even have thermals, like no fans. So it's a solid laptop. The one I have now is like 3 times the weight. That's one thing I don't like about it. Everything else is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can.
That's why it's called A. but no, just as you said, it does everything that it needs to do. However, like what you said, you've upgraded to the MacBook 16-inch. I guess that has more power because you're doing videos as well. Because I got a friend who does that. He's got the same one, and it's a beast when it comes to video, especially. So
it's beast.
Again,
Absolutely.
that was a need. You know what I mean? So you upgraded because you needed to. What else? So my lighting, I use Godox, the MS300s, and these
Nice.
are my lighting of choice. I don't need 500s. I
Okay.
don't even need anything above that. It would be great to have it, but it will just do exactly what I'm doing now. My work has
Yeah.
got me. My photos have got me work, and they've all been shot on this lighting.
Is this continuous light or are these strobes?
So I got a continuous light here. This is Cobra. So this is on. I found this brand on Amazon. They were doing a deal. I bought it. I checked it out. It's very bright. Because I've got a grid on this. I've got a. I don't know what size this is. I bought this used. The softbox used. So I don't know what size it is, but it's a video one. Light as what? I
Yeah.
love it. But I got a grid on it. So it's not bringing through all the light, but it's very bright. Here, I can't even turn the camera. I've got my
Yeah, it's
Godox
okay.
MS300. I got the modeling lamp on, so it's giving me a bit of a
Oh,
warm
okay, I
tint
get it.
behind. But I got 3 of those. I got the Godox speed lights as well. They all work through the trigger. I believe this is the Godox X Pro 2. So it's a bit wider than the normal ones. But
Yeah.
yeah, I use these. These work for my speed lights and my strobes. So it's fantastic. I don't
That's
really
fun.
use much gear, if I'm honest with you. I was telling
Yeah.
one of my students, because he went and bought all sorts, and I said, "Are you going to use all of those?" And he said, "No." So then why did you buy it? I don't know. I don't know.
He's got the gear bug.
But
We all had that one time.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we did. I had loads. I had like 3 cameras. I used one, so I sold 2. Yeah, you do get the bug, but but yeah, I just use mainly what I've just said. So the 70 to 300 Sigma zoom, the D800 I tether. If I'm on location, because I got the capture one all in one, I can just tether to my iPad, which is great. So I use my iPad as well.
Fantastic. How many lights do you usually use on a shoot? What's the common amount, or how many lights?
So with what I have, if I'm shooting people, I use like 3. May push it to 4 if I need to, just to create a look. But if I'm working on products, again, I start off with 1, then just add lights if I want to create a different look.
Yeah.
With my products, I'm moving into the style that I resonate with, which is I like a lot of negative space. So it's just like a minimal look.
That's
So
interesting.
I may not
Yeah.
need as much light for a minimal look. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, but again, if I'm shooting hair, gotta have a hair light, rim light, key light. So
Absolutely.
it just
That
depends
is.
on the shot.
That's cool. That's fantastic. So that's really interesting to know. I'm really that's fascinating. What I want to know now is, how did teaching evolve? What happened there,
Ooh,
and how are you enjoying that?
ooh, okay. So what did I do first? It was I don't even know when it even kicked in. What was I doing? Someone just asked me a question and I
Yeah.
replied. But you know when you realize that you know a lot of information about what you do,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
you've just taught someone something that you find so simple, but it's only simple to you because you've took the years to learn it. I could
Exactly.
say my friend Furley, which is Prince Pictures, he just wanted to connect with me and just say, because he's what I think he's a year or 2 in to being a creator. He just asked me. He came in one day. I was doing a bit of a test shoot for with using a deodorant. I just trying different angles and such and lighting. So he's came in and he's asked me a question that's over technical, and I said no, you just do X, Y, Z, and that's it. He went, oh,
Yeah.
okay. So I find a lot of well from that, other people then somewhat gravitated towards me and asked me a few more questions online as well. And then someone just reached out. I went on live. Someone reached out to me asking, can I mentor them? I was like, okay, cool. And then from there, it kind of just went on from there. And then the idea came. So I've started a new platform called Lens Boss. I call myself the Lens Boss now.
Very nice.
It's a
Cool name.
platform where photographers, beginners, aspiring, and intermediate can join, gain some insight. Well, not even inside information, but it's just information to help them grow. Like I said, there's too many gurus out there spilling inaccurate information, whereas in Lens Boss, you get the accurate information, and there's two forms as well. You have the free group where you can get a taste of it. You get like the hints and tips. I'll throw a blog post in there or a video. May even throw this in there. And then there's a paid one where photographers and members can get access to my resources. So I also retouch, so they'll get access to my retouching actions, toolkit, gradient maps, etc. on Photoshop.
Wow.
What else? So they gain access to my templates that I have. They'll gain access to free ones, paid ones at a discounted rate for them. And all they have to pay is $9.99 a month. It's no contract, rolling contract, so there's a flexibility there for them to learn as they can.
Very cool.
And that's just basically how I fell into the teaching bit. I've always wanted to do a group, a platform where I can teach photographers. I just didn't know when until the universe presented it. But doing the education will also help me on my speaker journey as well, because I want to be a speaker and then a keynote speaker for my field. Which is something that I'm also working on, hence podcast. So
Nice. What are you enjoying more though now? Are you enjoying photography more?
I think I always like photography more, and I say that because the teaching can be a bit overwhelming. I don't say I know everything. That's one disclaimer I make sure I put out there. I don't know everything. I'm just teaching what I know. But you can get some students who are a bit pushy and they start to question what you're doing or what you're saying or what you're spilling. Difference is, I'm not spilling, I'm just moving the cup for you to understand. But with photography, I've always had a passion for it. I'll take a shot and I get giddy, I get excited. A bit like Lindsay Adler. I went and saw her on Monday, and when she says she gets giddy when she takes great shots, it just reminded me of myself. Don't know if it's a photographer thing, but I get excited.
That's cool. That's fantastic. And what's your biggest tip for photographers?
Fast to give a last tip. In photography, I have said learn the business, but if you're really serious about turning your hobby into a business, sit down, put the camera down for a moment, take a week, take a couple weeks, educate yourself on the business, pick up the camera, do a couple test shoots, put it down, educate yourself on the business. Keep educating yourself on the business, because you may be a photographer, but if you're going into business, you're going to be a business person. So you need to know how to sell.
Absolutely.
You need to know how
it's
to
a great
market.
tip.
You need to know how to talk to people. You need to know how to present yourself. You need to know where to go to find your clients. You need to know how to attract your clients. There's a lot. So learn the business all the time, non-stop. Even pro photographers to this day, they're still learning the business.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for coming on. That was a fantastic conversation. I hope you enjoyed it. Till our next episode. Take care, guys.